Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our preparation for Mahalaya Paksha, the time of the ancestors where Dr. Pillai has shared that we can get rid of some stubborn karma that has been following us since birth. So my name is Sucharita. For those of you who don't know me, wishing you all a very warm welcome. It is Monday, September 20th, 2021. This is the most powerful, most auspicious time of the year. And it's one of my most favorite times of the year because I can connect with the ancestors who can give me blessings. And not only give me blessings, but give everyone in my family, in my lineage, on my maternal side of the family, or my mother's side of the family, or the paternal side of the family, my father's side of the family, for at least 6 generations of those who have gone before us. So remember that our ancestors are people who have passed away. They are no longer in the physical form or physical world. They're no longer here. So the ancestors are not only like your father or your mother who have passed away. If they're still alive, they are still here on the earth plane. So those who have passed away, those who are dead, those who are no more here are your ancestors. So like I mentioned, it could be your mother, it could be your father who has passed away, it could be your grandparents who have passed away, great-grandparents, and so on. However, it could also be aunts and uncles. It could be children. It could be your cousins. It could be other relatives in those two lineages. So on the maternal side, mother side of the family, paternal side, father side of the family. So just to get that clear, because many people say, oh, I don't know who my ancestors are. Should I do Tarpanam and my mother is still alive? No. So when we are honoring the ancestors during this time, Mahalaya Paksha, we will find out in these 15 days from the full moon to the new moon at this time of the year, according to the Indian tradition, all the ancestors come to the earth plane in their spiritual form. They can be stuck in places, in realms where they're hanging upside down, as Dr. Pillai has shared. They could be suffering. They could be burning in hells to purify their soul. They could be struggling with suicidal thoughts, even if they're no more here. They can be saying, what is the point? Because they haven't cleansed that karma. So the karma that gets transmitted through the generations, we could have inherited it. And Dr. Pillai has coined the term soul genetics. And soul genetics is relating to the level of the soul. So we are inheriting that which has been passed on through the souls of our ancestors. And how we know it is because we are being pumped with those thoughts on a daily basis. It's been measured in science and technology with all the instruments that we have to hook up to the brain and the body and measure all the different regulations that are going on in the system and what's being pumped out when we are thinking thoughts of perhaps anger or frustration or sadness or joy or happiness or feelings of success, and you feel that all the way through your body and you're like doing that success dance, the happy dance. So it can be celebratory thoughts. It can be really demotivating thoughts. So our energy can go really low such that we think that we're depressed. We think that we're suicidal. But where are those thoughts coming from? So take a look, everyone, at the nose on your face and ask yourself, who does that remind you of? Is it your mother? Is it your father's side of the family? Is it someone in your gene pool? Perhaps it is, because we share that DNA. And we share qualities, not only physical qualities, but we share behavioral traits. So a lot of people come to Dr. Pillai, including myself, many, many years ago, 25 years ago. And I've still been having a lot of fun, especially during this time of the year where I can really connect with my ancestors and get blessings and dump a lot of karma. How? Because we are feeding them. So Tarpanam is feeding the ancestors what they need. We'll get to that in a minute. So when we are honoring the ancestors and when we are knowing that, okay, how come it is that since birth, I feel like I have these successes, bursts of successes, and followed by mega failures, if not setbacks, that where I feel like, okay, I'm taking 5 steps forward and then 25 steps falling backwards in pursuit of happiness, whether it's related to your health or well-being, your mental health, physical health, emotional health, your spiritual health. Why is it that we bang up against these internal obstacles when we're on a spiritual path? That doesn't make sense. The spirit should just move us. We should be receiving healing energy from the heavens, from the gods, the goddesses, nature, if you will. Well, why are we so depressed? Why do we have ups and downs? Because we haven't propitiated the ancestors first. So it doesn't matter if we have prayed till our heart is exploding, our head is exploding, we fall down on our knees, we read all the sacred scriptures across the board, across the traditions, across the cultures, and we are seeking, seeking, seeking. And maybe that's why we stumble across Dr. Pillai's teachings, because he lives the 200% life. You don't just go on a spiritual path. You've got to do your life. And your ancestors are making you do your life because you share their genes. You share your soul genes together. You decided, hey, we're all going to come through this lineage and clean it up. So maybe you're going to be the superhero in your lineage, and then you will do the thing that needs to be done to honor the ancestors during this time and throughout the year hereafter. We'll get to that too. So we want to change not only behaviors like our emotional, spiritual, our way of thinking, whether we have scarcity consciousness, poverty consciousness, whether we have not being good enough, not being beautiful enough. So physical behavioral traits can be messing us up. It can give us low self-esteem or low confidence. And we're just wondering why it is that other people see beauty in us. However, we don't recognize it in ourselves. Other people see all our successes, and yet we don't feel satisfied. What's that all about? So ask yourself these questions. Just take a little note, or maybe even write these notes down. What is it during this time of the year, and you can do a little walk down memory lane. Why is it that you feel like you want to drink some alcohol, or you want to go and indulge in food? You have this emotional eating, this craving that's just like coming out of nowhere, especially from food that you're not used to having in your everyday life, such as maybe you're a vegetarian and all of a sudden you just want to eat a ton of meat. Go ahead, but just check yourself and say, who's that? Why am I doing that? Why do I have this craving? It could be nicotine, or it could be marijuana, or it could be prescription drugs. It could be drugs that are not prescription, and you just all of a sudden you want to space out. You just want to go into a different mindset. Or it could even be your spiritual path where you feel so depressed. You have a dark night of the soul that turns out to be many more nights. And it has been going on and on. So this is what the sages, the saints, all the divine beings are coming also to the earth plane right now, because they are our ancestors too. They have been guiding us. And perhaps Dr. Pillai is opening that door for you to recognize, here's the help. And it's over 15 days, so you can't blink and miss it. Well, you could, but however, we're here to give you a heads up and then give you something to do to overcome all these afflictions or all these addictions, if you will. There could be physical abuse. There could be mental, sexual, emotional abuse. Really horrid stuff that goes on with all of us. And I'll share my stories over these next 7 days together that I'll be guiding you through the TARPANAM practice and sharing little tidbits to make it interesting and make you want to come back each time to join us and participate. Because not only are we doing this for ourselves every day, Dr. Pillai is going to be empowering these sessions so that you get the most out of these power times. And why and what are these power times? So why do we want to attend? Because you can experience the energy of the group. So anyone who is joining now, thank you so much. Please say hello and where you're from. And we have fabulous Jamie and Arjun on the chat. They can answer your questions. They're going to pop up whatever highlights, tidbits of information that might be helpful for you onto the chat. So if you have questions, they will be happy to serve you and support you. And then after this little chat and the demonstration of how to do the TARPANAM offering, then I'll take a look at the chat and see if there are any unanswered questions that I can help you with at this point and every other program that we're going to be coming to in these next 7 days. So this is the first day, and then we're going to have 7 guided TARPANAM offerings together. And we'll have all these really fun things that we're going to share about it too. And when you come, then you will feel it. And then you will come the next time and you will feel even more. And in between, you'll have done your own daily TARPANAM. Super easy. And you'll find out how super easy it is. So the 7 days are the power times for Mahalaya Paksha are the first moon. We're kicking it off today. And it is all about gaining wealth consciousness. Who doesn't have ancestors or even those who are alive and guided us since birth about thoughts about money, thoughts about savings consciousness or poverty consciousness or scarcity consciousness? Money is evil. How many of us have heard that all our lives? Oh no, you don't want to have that because then you're evil. You will get bad luck. So all these kinds of crazy thoughts have been passed on through the generations. And our parents or grandparents or whoever it was that guided us, that generation before us, they didn't know any better. They came from war zones. And even some of us here have experienced that kind of trauma in our lives. Now, whether it was a huge country war or a war within. So we've been battling, every human being battles every day in life, the forces that are coming at us. Just prior to this session today, I was so excited. I was reviewing one of the videos that I had shared a couple of years ago, and I'm going to ask the team, maybe Arjun, you could pop that video up. It's in Soul Genetics in the Pillai Center Academy course, which I recommend everybody takes that because you'll find out how to get connected to your ancestors through the initiation of Dr. Pillai. So that's a course you can take. You can consider that too during this time or sometime after. So I created this video, or somebody edited it out of a class that I had done a couple of years ago. And it is packed with really great knowledge and great understanding of your ancestors and how to connect with them and what to do during this time. So we'll pop that into Pillai Center practice for you as well to review. It's about 20 minutes long. It's worth it though. So over the years, over the 25 years that I've been studying with Dr. Pillai, I have had tremendous evolution. Addictions have gone from my family. They have disappeared. And I have a big family. And we've had all kinds of abuse in our family as well. And I'm happy to report after 45 years of not knowing my father, I've come to know him and develop a relationship with him recently. He's 90 years old. He just told me that he's quit drinking alcohol. And he has gotten rid of his poverty consciousness, not having enough. He says, I'm so wealthy, I'm so healthy, I'm so happy. And I'm going, yay, finally. So it's not over till it's over. And how did I think I was ever going to forgive him for all the atrocities, all the suffering endured during our lifetime? And my siblings and I, there's 6 of us, we had a very estranged relationship with our father and also our mother. My mother, who has passed away, God rest her soul, she is very happy because of the Tarpanam that has been done on her behalf by the Vedic specialists in India. And I'm also enrolled in the Royal Plus year-long program for Tarpanam services that get done every day in power spots that I can't even imagine getting to, let alone to do it all at once at the right time. So Mahalaya Paksha is a time where you will start to think, wow, I've got to take care of myself. I've got to take care of my lineage. It won't matter how many mantras I chant. It won't matter how much meditation I do or spiritual pilgrimages that I go on or teachers that I study under. Until I propitiate my ancestors, I honor my ancestors, it is not going to bear the fruit. So all my efforts are going to be investments of time and energy and resources, money and forgiveness and going within and cleansing my body, my mind, my soul, and so on. But until I honor my ancestors on these power days, so starting with day 1, my wealth consciousness is not going to reap the benefit. I'm not going to see the benefits that I'm going to reap in my life. The return on my investment is not going to bear the fruits that I want to see now, not somewhere down the road. So wealth consciousness, prosperity consciousness, joy, happiness, healed relationships, healed at the level of the body, the mind, the soul. If you don't have energy, you can't think of doing anything to bring in streams of income to you or get that promotion at your job because your ancestors are banging on you inside of your thoughts. We have 35 to 50 thoughts in a minute. OMG. And most of those thoughts right now, check them out. What are you thinking about? Are they prosperous thoughts? Are they thoughts of your ancestors who, well, they couldn't help it. They were in the war. There was nothing to eat. There was no money to buy clothes or put shoes on the feet. And yes, all of us have ancestors who did that. But here we are at this point in our evolution where perhaps more so than any other time in generations before us, have we been able to access the things of comfort so much more quickly or earlier in life than they did. Some of our ancestors didn't get anything until almost the end of the life. They paid off their house finally. And then they had a car, maybe, or they had beautiful clothes. So they were really penny pinching, and that is coming into us. And it might be that we are also suffering from ancestors who had it all and they blew it all. So why does money go up and down or come and go? That's what we have to ask ourselves. So if these questions or these little scenarios are pinging you, it's your ancestors saying, okay, you already know what your problems are. You already know that there's bickering and fighting with family. You already know that you're struggling to have a job or keep a job or get a promotion or start a business, be successful at that business, attract people into your life, get married. A lot of people look at their lineages and they realize, OMG, I have not honored my ancestors because look at all the affairs that have happened in the ancestors in the gene pools in this lifetime as well, amongst your siblings perhaps, or your parents or grandparents. Perhaps you know about that and then it ended up in a divorce, or perhaps it was something where one of your ancestors passed away, then they remarried, and then they married into a family that took it all away from them. So if you see that, or if you experience that, or if you observe that in your life, even if it's just one person, chances are you're going to be affected by those thoughts and perhaps even experienced it as well. A lot of us have been married and divorced, and what was that all about after all those years? And it's gone. Now, that could be a good thing, or it could be a not so good thing. It's heartache. And then it disturbs the kids, the lineage or the generation in your lineage on both sides, your husband's side or your wife's side. And then those ancestors impact the kids as well. And so then you think, I don't want the kids to suffer. I don't want this next generation to have to go through the harms and hurdles and all the challenges, addictions and bickering and fighting and ups and downs, or not even being motivated. Geez, with COVID now, you think, oh, it's just because everybody's depressed. The whole world is our ancestors. If you connect all the dots, if you go way back. But we don't want to do that because it's overwhelming. Dr. Pillai says, focus on 6 generations on your mom's side of the family, 6 generations on your father's side of the family to start with. Now, some people have been propitiating the ancestors, giving them TARPANAM offering daily or in the year-long program or during Mahalaya or other very powerful new moons like AMAVASYA or AMAVASYA or Masi Magam. Those are really powerful. Masi Magam is usually associated with a full moon on Masi, Magha birth star during the month of Masi. So those are according to the Tamil tradition, which is the Vedic tradition. So the Vedas were this time period where the truth of how to live your life was all laid out. And everybody was living in harmony and doing the rituals, honoring the ancestors, praying, doing their mantras, their spiritual pilgrimages, and everything was honky-dory. Everything was fabulous. Yeah, there were some growth spurts and hiccups and challenges and ups and downs and good and bad times, sad and not so sad times. However, in those lifetimes, and perhaps you will recall that, and maybe in your dreams, you'll connect with the ancestors and they'll take you on a little mystical, magical adventure. And then you'll find out, whoa, I lived during the Vedic times, and perhaps that's why Dr. Pillai is attracting me now in this lifetime to bring in the teachings so I can have 100% life, 100% material pursuits and comforts and joy and happiness and health and well-being, beautiful relationships, fabulous purpose in life. Or it can be that you are experiencing the opposite and you want to get that washed away. So your karma are your thoughts. Your ancestors are pinging you inside of your genes, and you just have to take a little bit of a look down memory lane or a historical account into your ancestral lineages, and then you can see, whoa, those 6 or 7 ancestors are lines on the mother side, the father side, they're really impacting you. So even look at your dress, look how you wear your hair, the style of your hair, or how you speak to people, or how you laugh. Some people say, oh, you laugh just like your grandfather did, and blah, blah, blah. So, or you did this just like your grandmother did, or you're so depressed, you're suicidal, like an uncle who committed suicide, or anyone who has committed suicide in your gene pool. They are really suffering. So it's not just according to the religious traditions that suicide is a big sin. Sin, like Dr. Pillai shares, is a mistake. They take their life because they didn't understand that they're carrying those thoughts of the ancestors who have gone before them. And so it gets passed on and passed on and passed on until you right here, right now, are finding out about it. So you can do something about it and give the TARPANAM to those who committed suicide or who died of suicide in your gene pool. So it can also be not just your biological gene pool. Again, it can be your soul genetics. It can also be your people who married in to your family. So they can be aunts and uncles, or, you know, you could have second mothers or fathers, depending on what happened in your lineage. And they're not necessarily your true biological parents. You could have been adopted, but then through the gene pool, you will see that there are lots of adoptions if you backtrack it, and not even too far. So these ancestors are really, really struggling and suffering, and they're pumping in those kinds of thoughts into you. So this is what you can do, is daily Tarpanam every day. I'm going to get to that momentarily. Hang on to your hats. And then we can also explore, and this is really a sensitive subject, although it's very, very important, because any soul who got taken out of a life before it lived a full life is wanting to come back into the earth plane because it didn't get to go through the birth and the death process as a soul does in a long life, and gone through ups and downs and inside out, and then watch the body age and then finally say, okay, I'm done, I'm out, or be bitter and go out that way. It didn't get to live the full life to the old age. So these could be people who committed suicide, people who were in a war, or they were shot with a weapon, or they died of a knife or some kind of weapon, or it could be a weapon like a car accident. That's a big weapon, or a truck, or some heavy duty machinery. I know people who were farmers, and their lineage, people in their lineage got scooped up by the farm equipment. And so they passed away in that tragic accident. So those kinds of coming out of nowhere accidents can have taken those souls out, and then they're really suffering and struggling. They don't know which way to go because they didn't live the life fully. And then there can be people who committed suicide. They took their life. Even at the end, I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but people who share that they know people. So yeah, I guess it is a lot of people. It's more than one, and that's a lot. So it was so sad for people who were in old age homes or care centers, and they were locked in their rooms during COVID, during this year and a half. And they chose to take a needle and then have assisted suicide, or they call it medical assisted death. And I can't really judge it, and I get it. However, maybe that was a sad way to go for them. It was the only way, instead of being locked away and having to sit in their dirty clothes, soiled clothes, and all day long, and not get attention, and day after day after day. So again, it's not about judging it. It's about how that soul is impacting you if it has happened to you. So it did happen to me through an in-law, and I was very sad for the person. And even my in-law was like, I just don't even know. I haven't even processed it. I still don't understand why mom wanted to do that. I get it, but I just, why? And then blaming COVID. So it's a worldwide phenomenon that is not so great for us to have faced. So perhaps if we collectively do the Tarpanam, who knows how that's going to spread through our gene pool and help those to hang on just a little bit more until we come out of this COVID harm and hurdle that is impacting people. People died. I had a niece who was married very young, and she's 32, and her husband was 33, 34, and he needed a liver transplant during COVID, and he passed away as well. So these are the kinds of souls that, young or old, even unborn souls. So here's the sensitive part. And you may not know because maybe you didn't experience it, but maybe someone in your gene pool did. Maybe it was a sister or a mother or a cousin or some female who had a miscarriage or multiple miscarriages or abortions. So not about right or wrong. It's that those souls can be never wanting you to grow up and be mature and be responsible in your life. And you know where you're irresponsible. So check that out, because that could be contributing to your successes, because every kid wants to have fun, but then it can be also bad failures, because this soul has not been able to move through life and experience all the ups and downs and gain wisdom by the end and say, okay, I did my best and it's time for me to go. My body is ready to go to the next level, which is to die, the physical death, and then the soul can go into the spiritual realms, go off into Pitraloka or Pitruloka or Pitriloka. It's the place of the ancestors. So hopefully this has been helpful for you to explore all these things that are going on in your life, and ask yourself, why is it that that keeps happening? And where is it in my gene pool? And you will start to have dreams, or you will start to have conversations with your ancestors in real life. Maybe you even have pictures of them on your wall in your house, or in a book, or on your smartphones, or wherever you keep your photos of the people who have passed away, and they might be talking to you internally. You will feel and you will know what their thoughts are, the quality of your thoughts, and you will experience their emotions, whether they're good or not so good. So we want to ask the ancestors to be at peace and to bless us. This is the bonus celebration of this ritual that we're going to do that will enrich your body, your mind, your soul, your behaviors. It will turn you into this human being where you're saying, I can do something now. Wow, I didn't know all this was going on inside of me. And most of my thoughts are being influenced by someone else but me. And people have had experiences where they feel like they're schizophrenic. I even have my mother, who has passed away, as I mentioned. She was diagnosed as schizophrenic, and it was a horrible life for all the kids and everyone around us, and also for her. And trust me, I had guilt beyond the regular Catholic person's carrying guilt. We all know that. It's an inside joke, really, with Catholics or Christians, where we feel so guilty all the time for everything. We didn't do enough. We're not good enough. We didn't honor our parents. We didn't do what we're supposed to do. And as I came across Dr. Pillai's teachings, he says, oh yeah, I got a lot of recovering Catholics. Anyhow, so I've recovered from that. But my mother was schizophrenic, and that was a scary situation, not only as a young child. Lots of abuse was surrounded with that, and there was a lot of unforgiving. I could not see myself ever loving this being who was my mother, let alone love myself, because how could I not love my mother? How did I get here? If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. And perhaps if it wasn't so dramatic of a life up until this point, then I probably wouldn't take my spiritual path so seriously and be able to help so many people and be able to be blessed by Dr. Pillai to do something that is more purposeful, more rewarding than anything that has ever given me any happiness or satisfaction, or anyone else who jumps on this journey with Dr. Pillai. Especially, this is the only thing, if you don't do any mantra chanting, if you don't do any meditations or any rituals other than the Tarpanam, if you don't go to any spiritual spots like churches, mosques, synagogues, pilgrimages to different vortices around the world, You just do this TARPANAM. Feed your ancestors and your life will change for the better forever. And you will also see how everyone in your family, in your gene pool, starts to come out of their harms and hurdles. What? Yes, as I mentioned, you're going to be the hero in your life. Do they need to know? Mine don't. So I'm just happy that they're happy. I'm happy that they've come out of terrible addictions, lots of different kinds of abuses. That's what we inherited throughout our whole life, through our mother's side of the family, through our father's side of the family. There wasn't a hope in HE double hockey stick. And hockey sticks look like L's here in Canada. So you know what I'm saying? So hellish life. You don't have to wait to die to go to hell. You feel the hell of your ancestors where they're trapped. So you could feel like you're a bit schizophrenic, like you have a split in your personality. And it could be that your ancestors suffered through depression, mental depression, also the depression time during the depression years a few decades ago within this century. And that is still impacting us. Not having enough, not being good enough, scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. It's so darn fearful all the time. So, and this is the times we're living in as well. People have lost their jobs. So is it their ancestors? Maybe. And COVID is just something that happens, like a war happens. And you have scarcity, you're out of a job, you're out of, your relationships are suffering, your marriage ends, or you can't get married. People who can't get married, my God, they bang their head against the wall. Or people who can't conceive. They've gone through IVF treatments for fertility, and they can't. Or kids who come in to their gene pool, autistic kids, kids with CP, kids with physical or mental debilitations or handicaps. So why is that? Because it's an ancestor coming through and saying, I have to come through this lineage and this family. So you may be wondering why that is. Now, every soul has their journey. So again, no judgment. It's how you can make the most out of the situation where you get the best care, and that child or that family has all the support. It's not as if this was a miracle child. It brought so much love and joy. It could also bring angst and suffering and continuous trauma. So if you feel like you haven't been able to forgive, if you feel like you're messed up in pretty much every area of your life, that is coming out of denial. We all have this denial. Well, I'm just born with that, and that's the way it is. Even people who have a silver spoon, they will have so much suffering going on. They're never satisfied. And yet they have all the comforts, endless bank account, that they suffer from disease that they inherited, diabetes, cancer, could be problems with their bodies, could be that they look like their aging ancestors did when they were going on into their later years. Then there are people who get blessings from their ancestors and they are youthful and they look happy and they're full of joy and wisdom, and they share all their experiences and they share all their guidance, and the people who they share with, their ancestors or their gene pool who is here on the earth plane, the descendants, they also are getting blessings, and it's a beautiful experience. So this is what we want to do. So we know now that we've got something that we can do to honor the ancestors. So Mahalaya Paksha. Paksha means either side of the moon. So there is a dark side of the moon and there's a bright side or a light side of the moon. What's the dark side? It's the side from the full moon. You can see the full moon in the sky like it was today and yesterday. here in Toronto, Canada, Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We're coming into a first moon tonight around 7:30-ish p.m. And so goes from the full moon to the new moon it's going from full to no moon. So new moon means no moon. You can't see it. So there's 15 days of that, where the phases of the moon get smaller and smaller and smaller until the new moon, you can't see it in the sky. And then from the new moon to the full moon, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and bigger and bigger and bigger till the full moon. So where are we with Mahalaya Paksha? So Paksha, the Mahalaya Paksha is the time where the dark side of the moon, or Krishna Paksha, whereas the bright side of the moon is Shukla. Shukla means bright. So Krishna Paksha is the time period where you go inside and you talk to your ancestors, talk to your genes, talk to your self about how you want to change your behaviors, how you don't know how to do it, but the DNA, because of the soul's genetics, the soul genetics, that Dr. Pillai coins that term. It's not just something that is a great descriptor. It is an actual fact that your DNA at the soul level is going to express itself through this body mind that you call yourself, with all its emotions, all its drama, all its karma, all its planetary influences. Oh my goodness, it goes on and on and on. So this is the time where you go internally and you feel this cleansing. And so this Maha means great. Mahalaya, Laya means the time period for the ancestors during this fortnight. So this from the full moon to the new moon, the dark side of the moon, the Krishna Paksha. Krishna is like Christ consciousness. It says, honor yourself and everything and everyone who has helped you as a soul evolving to come and find out on a spiritual path, because that's the truth. You're going to find the truth inside. And what does the truth do? It sets you free. It doesn't mean that you dump all your ancestors or run away from your family. God knows all of us on the spiritual path want to do that. Or we have done that and we've disconnected, and that has brought a lot of sadness, could bring a lot of freedom, but then eventually we come around, just like I thought I never would. I was ready to say goodbye 45 years ago. And now I'm saying, hang on, Dad. You got another 10 years to go. Let's make it to 100 or maybe 108. And to have all that joy and happiness, and never mind what happened before that. So this is the time period. You might even be interested. Here is another thing that you might be pinged to do, is to go look up on Ancestry.com, or you might go to visit the graveyard. Maybe it's not the graveyard where your ancestors are buried, but it could be the graveyard, the cemetery, where you just decide, wow, I'm drawn into this. So you might see that. You might consider, if you have not propitiated the ancestors and you don't even know where they got buried, you might even explore that. So these thoughts will come to you, and then you will start to say, oh, I wonder what that person's life would have been. Well, guess who you're talking to? Yourself. So do them a favor by honoring the ancestor who struggled, and you share their genes, you share their soul's genes, and then you can turn your life around and you'll be a happy camper inside and outside going along. You might go to nature spots too, or some people have planted trees in honor of someone who has passed away. I know I've done that for my relatives as well. Or you go into nature and they donated a park to the city that they lived in or something. You will find that you're being very charitable, or charitable thoughts are being pumped into you. So when that happens, then do something about it. We have in the paid services where the Vedic specialists are going to do things on your behalf to all the different power spots around India, that will help to resolve the issues that have been passed on to you. Knowingly or unknowingly, you inherited it. Wanting to or not, you inherited it. You don't have to know who the ancestors are. They will appear to you. The energy, your thoughts will say, hey, I'm an ancestor. Doesn't matter if it's an aunt and uncle or somebody's name. If that energy is inside of you. That's the most important thing. In fact, when we do this Tarpanam, we're not going to say any names. We're not going to give any names. We don't want them to come to the earth plane. We want them to be at rest, be at peace, and move into higher realms. So then you bless us. You're free of the suffering. And you will feel this freedom as if you can take a deep breath for the very first time. The life force within you is supercharged. Your heart is open. Your third eye is connecting. Your chakras are aligned. You feel the prana, the life force, the Holy Spirit moving through you, such that all your spiritual practices will all of a sudden bear the fruits that you wanted to help you out and with your manifestations. So that's why we ask for the Vedic specialist to do the Tarpanam on our behalf during Mahalaya, this time period, to honor the ancestors, to do, even if we did the funeral rites according to our tradition, this is a spiritual technology. It's high tech, high tech. Diseases will disappear from you, from your gene pool. You will have thoughts of optimism, joy, happiness for no reason. You will feel so inspired to be charitable. So charitable, being charitable, giving, feeding people, big thing that you'll want to do. Instead of feeding yourself those things like overeating or sweets or stuff that you're trying to stuff your emotions down, the comfort foods. Out of nowhere, you're doing that. Why? So you could instead feed your ancestors by participating in those services where you can feed through Tripura Foundation. Super easy. I love it because all I need to do is go to tripurafoundation.org and feed some people. Or during these Vedic specialists who are doing the Tarpanam on our behalf and all the fire labs and everything else, the links are there below this video box, and also our friends will post it to the chat. So read it. Even if you think, oh, I cannot afford this, that's fine. I couldn't either in the beginning. And I'm so glad that I kept doing my daily practice of Tarpanam. And then all of a sudden the money came. And I said, all right, doing the year-long program. And in the year-long program, Mahalaya Paksha is also included. But I started with Mahalaya Paksha because that was the only thing that was available back then. And that one time of the year took care of so much in my life that I couldn't mistake it for anything else but to honor my ancestors, and things started to shift. So to get rid of bickering and fighting, to overcome all your sadness, all your fears, all your jealousies, all your hatred, and you think, oh my God, how can I be hatred? I can't be like that. Yeah, you are at the level of your soul, and it's not you. There's hatred in war, and that's where it gets stuck into you through the thoughts that are getting pumped in to you. So you're going, no, I'm not like that. And yet that's the denial part. On a very deep level, we are, but we can do something about it. Here's the secret. So let's get into it now. As you're taking a look at those links, you can also consider Soul Genetics, which is a course in Fly Center Academy. But for now, I've said so much, and I'm so happy to share this with everyone because this is one of the most auspicious, most powerful times of the year to dump your tragic, karmic, bad luck, misfortunate life and gain so many blessings and bless everybody else in your life from what you are doing during this power time where you're in the right place at the right time, thinking, saying, and doing the right thing. You can't blink and miss it. So power times again, first moon today, coming up to it today. And we're going to go fourth moon, Mahabharani. We'll talk about that ahead of time. You can read about it on those paid services. It's all there. What's the significance of Mahabharani star? And then also Madhyashtami, which is this powerful 8th moon. And then we're going to go to the 9th moon. The 9th moon is all about honoring Lord Yama, the god of death. Hey, pretty good person to talk to, connect with. And then also the 11th moon is connecting with Lord Vishnu's energy. He fulfills your wishes. He protects you. He's the one who says, all right, your ancestors have suffered enough. Time to come into open up the gates of heaven and come into Pitriloka or Pitraloka, Pitruloka. Loka means the heavenly realm or the location where your Pitris can go. And those are your ancestors. So they can go and then they can be party on, because that's what Dr. Pillai shares, that Lord Vishnu is the party god. So in heaven, everything is possible. You can manifest fabulous things. You can de-manifest anything that is no longer serving you. So we're going to get into that state as we feel our ancestors go to the heavenly realm. And then they're like, thank you, and showering us with blessings. So that's the 11th moon. Then we're going to get into the 13th moon, which is Pradosham, karma busting on steroids are us. It's a time where you can get rid of really stubborn karmas that you inherited, like curses. And people say, I feel so cursed. If you feel that way, it's your ancestors. They're cursing you, or they have been cursed and you're suffering. So it's not something that is way out there. It is something you know, you feel it, you are it. So curses can be washed away. And 13th moon, so pra means to protect, dosha means afflictions. Again, addictions can be afflictions, or just negative mindset about everything in your life. And everybody in your life is negative. Oh my God, just blow it up. So that Pradosham 13th moon is going to do it for you. So we'll meet again that day. And then finally, the new moon. The new moon means no mind, because the sun and the moon, they come together in the cosmos, in our galaxy. The sun represents your father's side of the family, the father's soul. Then the mother's is the moon side of the family. So there's the astrology, the astrological component, which you inherit too. So we're going to get it all done. And then on this new moon during Mahalaya Paksha, it's the end of that 15-day period where you can raise those souls of your ancestors to the level of a god or a goddess, so really high level. And what happens then? You get tremendous blessings. So who are those souls? Those souls who have passed away in the past 30 years. So just do a little check down memory lane. If not now, then maybe it'll come to you later. You'll find out about it, or maybe somewhere down the road. Oh my goodness, I prayed for this ancestor. I didn't even know that they had died in an accident with a weapon. It can be through military, or it could be like a big bad car crash or fire, tsunami, any of the elements that were they got caught in. So anything to do with earthquakes or fire or the water, tornadoes, wind. So that could have happened too, and wiped out that individual in the past 30 years. And we've seen lots of that happening. So maybe it is something that is in your gene pool too. So that soul, if you remember, and we'll remind you on the new moon, the end day of our 7-day journey together of guided Tarpanam, you will be able to pray for those souls, and they will come and bless you like you can't believe. And then you will know, after this Mahalaya Paksha, this time of the ancestors, that your whole life and everybody in it will change. You don't have to tell a soul. You can just observe, enjoy, and be at peace. All right, everyone. So now I'm going to move away from the camera, and I'm going to do a very quick demo. Tell you what all the things that you need, all the items. Tell you as much as I can about TARPANAM. I'm going to keep reinforcing that every day, those power days that you're going to come back. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you get the alert. Because even if you say, oh yeah, I'll show up on this, and you write in your calendar, stuff happens. So just like it did for me today, I burned my hand and I went, oh, what ancestor is that? And it's right around my ring finger on my left hand. So that can tell you something about the marriages or the divorces or those ancestors who are burning because of the trouble that they caused. And I know it's rampant in my gene pool. So I can really focus on that and make sure that I pray for whoever it was that messed up. Don't worry about it. We all mess up. So please be blessed and be at peace. So you will always have clues. Be very careful, everyone. You might be very tired or, sort of out of it. So be very alert. Move slowly throughout Mahalaya Paksha. All right. We'll keep reminding you about the tips and tools that will keep you safe and sound. All right. Here we go. So you can see Dr. Pillai there, and I'm going to move away from the altar so that you can get a little bit of an up close and personal look at what I've got going on here. So just a quickie. We have the food that we are going to offer, and this is the TARPANAM. And so what it is, it's black sesame seeds, and I have a big jar of it because I want you to see it up close and personal. So these are black sesame seeds. Usually we're used to seeing the beige ones, the beige or the cream colored ones. So these are black sesame seeds, also called til. So if you go to an Indian store, you're in India, you'll know til. So that's the main, if that's all you have, and we have a small amount here, a little shot glass. So this is what it is, up close and personal. And if this is all you have, you only need a small amount, like about that much. It's not even a coin size. So this small amount of black sesame seed, it has atomic power. It gets right into your DNA, and it is like a bomb going off inside of you that will destroy any negativity. That's how it works spiritually. And it will, because it's blessed by Dr. Pillai and the Tamil Siddha tradition that he hails from, it does the job. Now, if you want to get into it, you can get fancy. So you can take a coin here. And so you can, any coin, any denomination, you can just take one or a handful. It's up to you. And you can add that to the black sesame. So that could be the next thing that you could do if you don't have the black sesame seeds. If you have beige ones, Dr. Pillai says it'll be okay. It's an okay substitute, but the black ones, they represent Lord Saturn. And Lord Saturn delivers our karma. And Lord Saturn is the brother of the god of death. And this is a black sesame seed lamp that you could also explore lighting. So that's how our karma gets delivered too, through the planets and through our lineage. The karma is what Saturn delivers for us to do our work in the world, our purpose, what we do every day, our responsibilities. So it kind of makes sense that the TARPANAM is so important to honor that which we're doing every day. And then when he's happy that you've done this spiritual practice, you've helped to relieve the suffering of your ancestors, boom, you get so many blessings. As Dr. Pillai says, you'll go to the status of a king or a queen if Saturn wants you to do that. And he definitely will if you do honor the ancestors and relieve the suffering from your gene pool. It's selfless. Not a big deal to do. Now, if you have white rice powder, so this is, you can buy it in the stores or in International Aisle or in India Puja stores, Archana stores, grocery stores. They have it in bags or, big or small. But you don't need too much because, again, it's only going to be a very small amount. So you could use that white rice powder. Now, we also have white rice grains. Traditionally, they cook the rice and they make little balls. If you go to those places at the rivers, at the sacred rivers, such as in Kerala or in any other place that you can read about on Pillai Center Ashravet, the year-long services or Mahalaya. It's going on now. So this is white rice grains. They're not cooked. So you can add just a few. The ancestors love it. Now, if you want to get really into it, you can add some darba, DHARBA, darba. So this darba it's chopped up, and I cut it up in small pieces because I only want to use a couple of pieces to my tarpanam mix. And so I can just, put a few little pieces in there. It looks like this. Even this is cut up. They come in long, long pieces. So you can get that online, or you can get it at the temples or Indian grocery stores, Archana stores, puja stores, like I have, and then I just store it. It's dried out, but that's okay. It's got, the technology is inside of each of these items. Then you want to get into it even a little more. You can add some tulsi. Tulsi leaves are what Lord Vishnu loves. Again, he is the overlord of the ancestral heavens. So we can honor him. There's seeds in there, the tulsi seeds. So if you can't get the fresh, then there's seeds, or there's dried leaves, as I have, or you can get the fresh leaves if that's possible. Hey, you want to get into it even more? This is a dried out bilva leaf. So you can offer the bilva leaf, that's Lord Shiva, or little pieces of it and chop it up and put it inside the tarpanam mix. So you can do that as well. And we're just going to continue on and make this a royal tarpanam. This is sandalwood powder. And you can make a paste, or you can just sprinkle a little bit into your tarpanam mix. And that will help to honor Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. They all love it. This is even something that you could try out, especially today. It's turmeric. So turmeric is what the gods, Ganesha for success, Muruga loves it for healing and getting rid of all kinds of negativity. And then also the goddess Lakshmi, Shrimbrazi, loves it. So she'll pump in wealth into you and heal you. Turmeric has a lot of healing properties. So we want to heal our poverty consciousness. We don't want to have poverty consciousness. We want to wipe it out. We want to heal our mind from it, being bombarded by it. Then some little flowers. Like these are so small. Look at, you can just take one even little petal. So you can really get into it. And we're going to do that as we go along. But for today, because this is our prep, I just wanted to show you how much you can get into it with this particular ritual that will enrich your body, mind, and soul. So you'll have something that looks kind of like this that you'll sprinkle on your hand, and we'll do that. But this is with all of it. It's all, oh, I forgot the coin. Let's do the coin too. I have American ancestors, so it's an American coin. So there it is. So you can just have this in a plastic container. And why in a plastic container? Because you can pop the lid on it. And so it's got all of this mixed in. And so this lid is keeping it waterproof. It's sealed. So when do you do tarpanam? You do it during daylight hours. So if you are in a place right now and it's not daylight for you, meaning that the sun has not yet risen or it has already set. So if it's before sunrise or after sunset, please do not participate at home. Do it when you have daylight hours, but you can hang out and just be a part of this today. So this is the mixture that you take into your shower if you'd like, or you can have it somewhere, maybe by your kitchen sink, like I do. Afterwards, then I will do my tarpanam. I'll have it on the windowsill, and then before I do anything, I make sure that the kitchen is clean, and then I can do my tarpanam. Some people, they take their shower and then they put a little bit on their right hand, always right hand. So they put a little bit on the right hand and then pop it underneath the shower water. So the water washes it away. So we'll go through the process so you can do that. So if you haven't taken a shower and you're doing your tarpanam, don't worry about it. You can have washed your hands minimum. Brush your teeth, splash a little bit of water on your face or spritz. You want to get into a different state of receptivity. You want to honor as much as you can or as best as you can without going overboard. So you just don't be stressed about it. Just say, this is all I can do. Please forgive me if I've done it incorrectly or not as best as I can today, but I'm going to bring more attention, be prepared. So preparation is the key. So again, not that you have to have all of this, but if you only have the black sesame seeds, that is all you're going to need, plus some water. So what is the direction of the ancestors? According to the Tamil Siddha tradition, maybe the Indian tradition as well, in some parts of India, not all parts, and not all parts of the world, it's all different. So according to Dr. Pillai, though, the location to feel connected to the ancestors, so the directional strength is the south or the southwest. So if you face that direction, you might feel like, whoa, I really feel the ancestors. I feel this energetic connection. Now, if you're from a different tradition and you want to face that direction for your ancestors, you go right ahead. And then try the south. That's the realm of the ancestors. So all that has been said and done. And now we're going to see how super easy it is. So we'll call on Ganesha. This is Ganesha grass or durva. So people want to know the difference between Ganesha grass or durva, D-U-R-V-A. That's what it's, how you say it in the Indian tradition. And this is the grass for Ganesha, not the darba. So let's look again what the darba looks like. Much different, right? Look at durva, darba, durva, darba. There you go, side by side. So this is Ganesha, and this is your ancestors. Darba, durva. Why I'm saying it so much is that people like myself will say it and will get mixed up. So we want you to make sure that you're doing the right thing. All right. So we're going to give this to Ganesha because he is the one who is going to help us to feel the connection. So focus your attention on your base of the spine in your pelvic region, maybe down around your tailbone. Imagine a ray of light shooting up your backbone in your energy body. And it pierces all the chakras, the psycho-spiritual centers where you absorb thoughts from inside of you, connecting to your ancestors, and also in all the spirits around you, good or not so good, pinging you, disturbing you. We'll call on Ganesha to remove all that energetic connection that is coming into your body, mind, and soul through the chakras. This ray of light shoots up through the top of your skull and goes to the ancestral realms, where all the ancestors who are in high states can bless you, empower you, and help the other ancestors to come on up out of their harms, out of their suffering. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha Nirvignam Kuru Kuru. Pray to Lord Ganesha inside of you to move the Kundalini energy, to enliven your chakras, to enliven that ray of light or your Sushumna, that thread of light that connects to your ancestors through your energy body, mind and soul. Pray for all obstacles to be removed so you don't be distracted for this minute or two. We'll call on Dr. Pillai. You can imagine him in a light form or a form you're familiar with. Allow yourself to be a human sponge and soak up the spiritual vibrations in that light, coming through all your cells in your DNA, cleansing the karmas of your ancestors, helping you to connect with ancestors who are going to help you and bless you. Embrace the light in your eyes. Embrace the light in your ears. Embrace the light that enters your tongue. Embrace the light that goes up your nostrils. Hold on to it, embrace it, hug it, take it in. Embrace the light that comes into your forehead, activating your third eye, in the middle of your brain. And then embrace the light that beams down from the ancestral realm, the heavens of the ancestors who are helping you to dissolve away all your problems and to assist those ancestors who are struggling. Embrace the light. Soak it up. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Om Dram Dattatreya Shiva Baba Namaha. Now, slowly open your eyes, if they're not open already, and gaze forward into this bowl. And I'm going to take my coin now that my hand is cleansed with a little bit of water. Always use your right hand. So cleanse your palm with just a little bit of water. And then you can take the coin, put it in your right hand. It's a bigger coin, so maybe that's the amount that the ancestors want today. And put your mixture of black sesame seeds and white rice powder or white rice grains if you have it. There's also a little bit of darba grass there. You don't have to have that. This is all you need. Even if you just have the black sesame seeds or beige ones, it's okay until you get the black ones. And then put your hand underneath, your left hand underneath your right hand. Face the south direction, if possible. Connect with your heart. Feel the energy in your heart, the energy to ask the ancestors a heartfelt prayer. Please come and take this offering. It's my heart's desire to relieve you of your suffering, and I don't know what else to do. So 6 generations on my mother's side of the family, 6 generations on my father's side of the family, please come. Known or unknown ancestors, take this offering. With your left hand, you can take the water or turn on the tap and pour a small amount onto the palm. Continue your prayer. As you're receiving this offering, wholeheartedly, I ask that you go into the light, go into the realms of joy, happiness, bliss, heaven. Connect with all the ancestors who can help you to evolve spiritually, to come out of suffering of any kind. And please, please, please bless me. Bless me with health, prosperity, enlightenment, and everyone in our gene pool, the descendants here on the earth plane, help them to come out of their harms and hurdles. This is all I can do. In Dr. Pillai's name, Dattatreya Shiva Baba, please accept this offering. And then take your left hand, pour the water over your right hand with the Tarpanam mix. And look at, you can even see the movement. The ancestors are there. So imagine all the sins, the problems being washed away. You can allow the coin to drop, can rinse off the Tarpanam mix. And close your eyes. Bring your hands in prayer. Make a sincere, wholehearted prayer that your ancestors accepted this offering, whether you did it now or whether you do it later, and to remind you to keep doing it every day for the rest of your life. It is the only thing that you need to do spiritually that will help you to shift everything around. With the blessings of your ancestors, accept this offering. And relax. Feel what you feel before you open your eyes. Take note of your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts, the quantity of your thoughts, your emotions, the energy. Make a prayer of gratitude to Dr. Pillai for blessing you to come and receive this teaching today. I had no idea how this was going to roll out. However, the ancestors were really happy for everyone to be here, and this will be something that can be shared with others hereafter. In fact, if you're watching this recording, you got a lot of blessings today as well. So slowly, slowly come back to yourselves. And how was it, everyone? Wahid is saying here, wow, this is surreal. And sister does such a wonderful presentation. Wonderful. Jamie says, make a sincere, whole, heartfelt prayer that your ancestors accept the offering. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Jamie and Arjun, for taking care of the chat and capturing whatever has been shared today, because it is so auspicious. Again, I had no idea what was going to be shared and for this duration, but it was needed. So it can be something that you can watch again and again, or you can fast forward it to the parts that you missed out. But it is something that will be eternal. You'll be eternally grateful because it will change your life. So hopefully you will be able to check out the links below or on the chat that takes you to the paid services that I would highly recommend. And people have been writing back to me and saying, oh my goodness, when you talked about TARPANAM the other day, I realized that that's why I'm not able to progress in life. And so I'm jumping into the year-long TARPANAM service. And it's so great because it gets done for us. We cannot even get there. Even if we were in India, we couldn't go to all those power spots all at once. So Dr. Pillai is guiding our souls, and our souls are going to be happy that we did the right thing for them and for our ancestors. Mel was saying, gosh, I honestly say that was just smiling at how wonderful your instruction was throughout. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Hi, Melba. Nice to see you. Great. And Fly Center Practice is popping up the Mahalaya Rituals link. So please check it out. Read about it. And like I said, I was crying because I couldn't afford to do it, but I read about it. And the following year, I was able to do it. The money came out of nowhere. And I said, all right, that's where I'm putting it towards the Mahalaya. And I haven't turned back. And then the year-long program came in to be able to, we could participate. And I've been doing that since it has popped up as a service. So, and that's what accelerated everybody in my family to come out of the harms and hurdles that we inherited. So not that we signed up for it, or not that we can't figure out that this is not right. Why is this happening to us? So they aren't banging their heads anymore. And I'm just happy that I could do something. So just going to take a look at the chat too. The replay is going to be available to rewatch. Absolutely. Okay. So let me just scroll up and just see if there's anything that pops out. So lovely to see people from all around the world. Fabulous. And all your shared blessings for everyone. Please refer people to watch the recording. You know, you can watch it in little bits and pieces as well throughout Mahalaya, and that will ping you. I'm going to ask Arjun to scoop up that video and put it into Pillai Center Practice. That will, it's about 20 minutes long, and it captures everything that I've shared today, but in a more compact conversation, let's just say, around Mahalaya and the importance of Mahalaya and everything that we did here today. So what do? You'd make sure you take a shower during sunlight hours. So what is that? After the sun rises, anytime, and before the sun sets, wherever you are in the world. So during daylight hours, you want to face this, you want to take a shower, you want to face the south direction if you know it, and you want to have just that small amount of black sesame seeds only, if that's all you have, or add a little bit of white rice powder. The only thing is, if you have a a sink or a tub, you want to have a drain catcher so it catches the seeds, because otherwise you could have things growing in your drains, which people have had, or they get clogged. So those people who do tarpanam, they do them at lakes or at ocean sides if they're nearby. Do it discreetly so you don't attract people and then disturb your tarpanam offering. You can do it once, you can do it 108 times. You can do it as many times as you feel that their ancestors are satisfied at that point. You can do it in your, you can put the, like this bowl that I have of the offering, it's going to be poured into my garden. So you can pour it outside as well. You can pour it down the drain, but it's so expensive to get those drains unclogged, or plumbing and so on. So do things be practical as possible, and then you can pour that again out. If you don't have a garden, let's say you live in an apartment, it's all concrete or pavement around you, then you can go for a walk into nature, into a park, and then just discreetly put it in like a little plastic container, and then just pour it out. So the more you take care and put attention, it's not about doing it right or wrong. You just saw how easy it is. And with Dr. Pillai's grace and blessings, it can take a few seconds, a minute, if you just did it once. And people say, do I have to offer 2 offerings? One for the maternal side of the family, mother side, one for the paternal side of the family, father side. You can do one and just say, start with 6 generations. And then as you feel like, oh, they're happy, then you can go on and, go up to 8 or double it, or Dr. Pillai says, get up to 64 generations. And that took me quite a while, months. So you don't want to speed up and miss them. Take your time to understand, oh, there's another breakthrough. And wow, I'm thinking about so-and-so. I don't even know that person. And then all of a sudden you find out that you're related to that ancestor. So you can do it all at once. You can do it one at a time, either side of the family. You can do it many times. No hard or fast rules. Again, in general, although some teachers will say you can say the names of your ancestors, I work with Hanuman Das in advisory services, and he is the Vedic priest that Dr. Pillai has trained and has been working with Dr. Pillai to remove really stubborn curses and black magic and all these things that are inherited through the gene pool. I'm in that program for decades. So that is something that I know he is really doing on our behalf. And he will say, don't call any names, just known or unknown, or known and unknown ancestors. Come and take this and do it wholeheartedly. And your words will not even make sense, or they can make perfect sense. And you will say, who just spoke that beautiful prayer? Or who just stumbled around and stuff went flying? You'll start to see the seeds popping on your hand. Or all of a sudden you bump yourself and then everything goes flying. So just slow things down a little bit during Mahalaya, and you will see, not maybe with your naked eyes, but you will experience that which is bombarding you, and that energy. And then you start to think thoughts. And then you don't take action, or you take action without really considering the consequences. Or maybe you take action, you go, wow, I just needed a kick in the pants to get going and be successful. So you never know what is going to happen, and everybody's experience is going to be different and unique. So please come and share. So we'll see you tomorrow, same time. It's going to be a lot less blah, blah. For sure, because we're just going to get right into the Tarpanam practice and focus on what we need to pray for. So you got your email, and I think that it probably has been posted what the power times are. But if you come tomorrow, or if you've subscribed and you hit the bell, then you're going to get the alert, and then that'll take you here, and you'll know just show up and you'll find out what is needed next. So please do your Tarpanam forever hereafter, and you will have Dr. Pillai's grace and blessings. You have the blessings of your ancestors, and you will say, wow, why did I delay? If you miss a day, don't stress about it. Just pick it up and do it some more the next day. So like brushing your teeth for good dental health and well-being overall, because if your teeth aren't good, your body's not good. Disease is there. So you can do this Tarpanam for your spiritual health, your material health, and your health of your everyone on the earth plane and on other planes as well, especially the ancestors. So they're going to be blessing you like you can't imagine. So God bless you all. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow, same time. God bless. Namaste.